So I found out something very interesting this week, some music news, that I found out the difference between the black-eyed peas and chickpeas. Because I found out that black-eyed peas can sing a tune and chickpeas can only hum us one.
Oh. Fucking hell.
And speaking of sound, I went to the doctors about a hearing problem. And he said to me, "Can you describe the symptoms?" And I said, "Yes, Homer's a fat bloke and Marge has blue hair." Hello, everyone, and welcome to Black Dog episode 69. Yes, it is. Episode 69. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Elton.
And this week we'll see how most of our weeks went. And then we'll see if there's any feedback. I'm not sure there is entirely. And then what we'll do is we'll move on to our movie this week, which is Logan Lucky. I am incarcerated. And yes, we'll see how that's going. And then we'll wrap it all up and then we'll all go home and there will be tea and cake. Tea and cake not supplied. So, anyway, let's find out how everyone's week's been. I know, Elton, your week has been quite quiet, so we shall...
Very boring, yes.
Very boring. No, you did record a podcast?
Yeah, but that's like the pimping stuff at the very end, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, fair enough. So we'll pimp that pimping stuff at the end. Pimp Zone. I think we should call that from here on in. Pimp Zone. So when we hit the Pimp Zone at the end... we'll talk about that. So let's move on to Jim. Jim, let's talk about your week. How's your week been, sir?
More or less the usual, but I have got addicted to a game, which means I'll probably have to uninstall it from the phone very soon.
Okay, yeah. Go on in.
Well, it seems so innocent. It's one of these little gem matching games.
Oh, yes.
It's called the Gems of War.
Yes.
But... it's so much more than a gem matching game because but you have a team of 4 guys, like standard fantasy Berks.
Yep.
And you match 4, you get another go. There's skulls along the gems. If you get 3 skulls, you can wallop the other side and hit the hit points. And each of your troops, if you collect so many gems of a certain colour, you unlock. They get to cast their spell or do their special move.
Yeah.
It's fairly straightforward to grasp, but oh my god, it's complicated. It's a massive sandbox of a game because you start off in one kingdom, you do a few missions, and then it unlocks other kingdoms, but then it unlocks other game modes as well, and then you get like 3 extra troops, so you can build different teams. You want one of all dragons, say, or all undead. And it's just endless amounts to tat on with, and
yep.
And then there's like your daily games, and you can play against other players. It's kind of, this isn't a game. This is a way of life. I'm going to have to install this. It's just...
Yeah, Gems of War reminds me of another one I used to play a lot when I first got my iPad called Puzzle Quest, which is the same sort of gig. And it is
I think that might be made of the same people.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, this is what they're doing now.
There's a sci-fi one of those as well that I've played quite a lot. I've got it on both the PC and the Xbox. I can't remember what it's bloody called, though, but I'm pretty sure it's made by the same people.
Yeah, there's
that.
It's insane. It's insane, like Battle Islands and Pocket Pioneers and Marvel Puzzle Quest and Puzzle Quest Challenger. Oh, yeah, Jim, you're walking into a world of crack.
Yeah. Well, on a related note as well, I watched a documentary that's coming on Amazon Prime called Eye of the Beholder.
Oh, yeah.
And it is the story and history of the art in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh.
And it also is kind of a little sort of potted history of how the game developed, but mainly it is all about the art and kind of how influential it's been, and how it started out. It was just, no one had done this sort of thing before, pretty much.
Nice.
But it's very entertaining, very interesting, because a lot of the artists are, shall we say, characters. Lots of funny stories, and you get to see lots of sort of fantastic art from the early 70s when it was just pen and ink and literally done by high school kids going, Gygax, can you draw me a Minotaur on a night, please? You know what I mean? Little friends of his school kids too.
Oh, nice.
Like the glorious sort of full colour painting and how the art styles have evolved rather. So, now if you look at the current Dungeons and Dragons books, it's not just a bunch of stereotypical blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guys in armour. You've got all races, sexes depicted as different characters playing being in the game. It's a really interesting documentary. I say very entertaining.
Nice.
Even if you're on nodding terms here with, say, like D&D. I mean, Teresa watched with me, and she was, came away going, that was a really fun and entertaining and informative watch.
Nice.
So I recommend that while it's still on Amazon, because these things do vanish overnight.
Oh, God,
in fact,
yes.
me reviewing it now means probably some cunts pulling it as we speak. So don't hang around. Take the day off. Go watch it.
Go watch it. What's it called again? Remind us.
Eye of the Beholder.
Eye of the Beholder. Right. Brilliant. Okay, and that's on Amazon. Nice.
Yep.
Okie dokie. Cool. Well, excellent. Anything else, sir?
I'll leave it at that for my week.
Okay, short and sweet. Then that's great. Okay, then let's move on to you, Mr. Barnard. How was your week, sir?
Yeah, again, very quiet. Not really much going on apart from working overtime. Jesus Christ. I just haven't stopped really.
Okie dokie.
So there you go. It's all about the Benjamins.
All about the cash.
Indeed, it is. It is.
Cash-a-rooney.
Something I have been that's been keeping me company while I've been travelling to work and doing all this stuff is The Adventures of Rick and Morty.
Oh, yes.
Now, as I said about 2 weeks ago, I think it was, or a week ago, I started off watching the first couple of episodes and something seemed to click with it. And I started laughing at various bits and bobs in the episode. I thought, this is it. It's finally taken hold.
Yeah.
And I'm now around about halfway through season 3. Within a week, I've got that far in it. So just like popping these things like Tic Tacs, these episodes. Finding out that each one, or just about each one, has got a post-credit scene.
Yes.
As well. And I have to say, as much as I was enjoying them, it was one post-credit scene that there was just something extremely dark and creepy about it. There is an episode where, for anybody who doesn't know, The Adventures of Rick and Morty is about Rick Sanchez, who is granddad to Morty. What it is, he's a scientist, Rick, and he creates all these really strange inventions. He's just got like this workshop in the garage of the house he shares with his daughter and her husband, and Morty's sister Summer.
Yeah,
and Morty and Rick go on these adventures together quite a few times to the detriment of Morty's health in some way or another, or his safety. But there was one episode where they had a Rick from one of the multiverse places, one of the parallel universes, that was going around offing other Ricks in different dimensions. And it was the post-credit scene from that, because that was a bit of a rug pull.
Was that the one with the Maltese?
No, it's the one with the Ricks, where they've got the Council of Ricks.
Yeah.
You get introduced to the Council of Ricks, which is all different Ricks from different dimensions. Because they're sought after and on the run, most of them, they've bound together to form the Council of Rick, which is just like this great big massive space station that's just full of Rick and Mortys from different dimensions. So they've all got like different haircuts. I mean, quite a few of them look the same. But and it's always the Rick that we have in the show is always the one that they suspect has been the one throwing the spanner in the works for the rest of them.
Yeah.
Every single time, and he keeps getting pulled up, and he gets suspected of offing Ricks from different dimensions. Of course, turns out it isn't him.
No.
And they do eventually track down the Rick that's done it.
Yeah.
But it's the finisher to that episode. I can't really say what it is.
No, you don't have to. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. And it was just that. I'm like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
But then it does. You see, it goes from doing stuff like that, and it goes from being very funny. And the great thing about the show is also suddenly it fucking punches you from left field with a totally unexpected emotional moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I must admit, when I found out what Rick's catchphrase actually was, I actually had a dusty room moment.
Yeah, well, you have. If you put it into Google Translate, it tells you.
It does, yeah. I was watching the documentary. Was it? There was an interview with Dan Harmon that I was watching tonight, and the bloke doing the interview said, "You know that if you put it into Google, that it actually translates it for you. It says, 'Do you mean this?'" But yeah, it's what because wubba lubba lub.
Wubba lubba dub dub.
Wubba lubba dub dub is something that Rick's all like, "Hey, let's party, wubba lubba dub dub," and he says it quite a lot. And when you find out what it actually means, you realise that he says it a lot, and it's like, oh no, and it's just such a fucking claw in the heart when you hear it.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
Everyone's Googling it right now. Wubba, lubba, dub dub.
And if you followed the show up until that point, it's like getting near the end. I think it's on the last episode of season 1 when you find out.
Yep.
And you've gone through stuff with Rick and Morty. And it's even... When you realise that you don't... You really don't know the characters that well until that moment.
No.
It's just... There's that. There's been one or two other bits as well where they've just got that it's just the comedy's just suddenly been switched off.
Yep.
And you're left.
The one with where an entire planet's his girlfriend.
Yeah, that one.
that's a cracker.
That one, the ending of that one as well. The final scenes it leaves you with is just by rights you should be laughing at what you see. Rick do, but it's just the music in that show as well. Yeah, some of the tracks they play with some of the scenes, especially that one. I think they actually play the track "One Is the Loneliest Number" as well at one point.
That's it. Yeah,
and oh man.
Yeah, after you've just seen him have sex with the entire population of a planet. Yeah, I've always wanted to do it in front of a stadium full of people.
Yeah, don't ask questions, but do you have the genetic DNA sequences for a giraffe?
Yeah.
It's just the next thing you see, a traumatised giraffe sitting there just blinking, just...
Yeah. Oh, anyway.
It's terrible for watching on the train as well, for some things that it suddenly slaps you in the face with.
Yeah.
As well. But I've got to say, for a show that I didn't really know that much about to begin with, I'm quite obsessed with it now.
All I can say at this point is, I told you so. That's all I can say.
No, a lot of people have said, but I didn't. It's like that thing you don't. It's something you don't get, but then one day
it just clicks.
It just clicks. It's like I had that with Archer to begin with, right? And then suddenly something clicked in the show, and that was it for me. I got it, and I laughed at all the stuff. I understood where it was all coming from, and this has been. It's been like that with Rick and Morty, although this has been a bit more of a longer journey, and the payoff is so much more satisfying. Yeah. And I do like the references as well. I think the guy Dan Harmon and the other guy that write
Justin Rowland.
Yeah, I think they've got a bit of a thing about Inception.
Oh, no, that's Dan Harmon. He absolutely hates Inception.
Because there are 2 episodes where it's literally... it uses...
Ripping the shit out of it.
Yeah, the Inception vehicle to especially the one where you find out how Rick's battery in his car is powered.
Oh God, yeah,
That one.
That's a classic.
yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. It's like Inception. And the actual Inception episode is very, very good as well.
Yeah. Go within a dream, within a dream, within a dream, like that dumb-ass science fiction movie you like so much. What, Inception? Yeah, let's not question it.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm loving the multiverse, cable TV. That's voiced by the same bloke. It's the guy that does Rick, but it's that. It's that whole
Anthony
sort
Eyes
of
Johnson
him
selling selling nothing but doors to nowhere.
and what's the other one? I like my personal space. Yep, this is it. Get away from me. Give me my personal space.
Yep,
that one.
Yep.
And it's the way that he delivers the actual adverts. It sounds like, I don't know if he's got it scripted, but it sounds like he's ad-libbing, but he's ad-libbing really badly, and that's the funny thing about it.
Yep.
It's those pauses and stumbling over his own words.
Well, those bits came from outtakes, and Justin Roiland's, who wrote it and did it, there's a whole show reel of him actually getting deliberately completely drunk. And then just going into the sound booth and just riffing loads of stuff off. And then whenever Dan Harmon starts laughing, they basically just say, right, that'll do. We'll animate to that, animate to that, animate to that. So all of that stuff is just like...
It's the callbacks as well, where they have like that. You see him like in waiting rooms watching multi-dimensional cable TV, and it's the ball fondlers and stuff like that. And hey, who'd have thought we'd find a universe where they'd have a ball fondlers movie?
Yeah, or the arcade with the Game of Roy.
Yes, Game of Roy.
Game
Brilliant.
of Roy.
Yeah,
But anyway,
absolutely excellent.
Oh, well. So our Rick and Morty podcast is coming soon.
Oh, I bloody hope so, because there's a lot to talk about. I think there's a lot of meat on those bones. And
that probably has been picked over by 1 billion people by now. But
I'm sure it has. Yeah, but none of those people are us. So there you go.
There you go. And on that note. We shall move on.
We certainly shall.
No.
We certainly shall.
And
that's it, I think, this week.
Right, okay.
I don't think I've done anything else apart from play quite a bit of Fade to Silence, which is, I don't know if I talked about this game last week.
I think you might have done, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's all about a man who, it's a world where society's been completely overrun. There's really not that many humans left. And everything around this guy is a cold wasteland. There's only him and his daughter left.
And some zombies?
No, they're not zombies. No, this is a proper supernatural, very sort of Call of Cthulhu, H.P. Lovecraft type villains. They're made of this black stuff that's quite spiky and sinewy and stuff like this, and inside the actual guy that you play has got what sounds like the chief demon inside his head, taunting him all the time, and it knows the stuff that you're doing. Like, so if you're near a deer and you're going to hunt the deer, it goes, oh, going to hunt a deer, are we? You'll never pull that string in time. Then you'll starve to death. And it's that kind of thing.
Right.
So it's always trying to sort of like put you off and tell you that nothing is worth it. You might as well just lay down and just die. And this thing won't let you die either. It keeps bringing you back
to torment you.
Yeah, and there's 2 different modes in the game. You can either do the one I started off, but I've stopped doing now, which is you only get so many lives. You get these things called, Flames of Hope. And every time you die, you use up a flame of hope. And but the thing is, with this, whereas once you've done your final flame, it destroys everything. You come back and your base has been completely trashed if you start playing the game again, because it's like you're on an increasing loop. It's like a really bad, nasty version of fucking Groundhog Day. This, right?
Oh, right.
So it just starts you from the beginning, and the demon taunts you and says, "You're back again."
Yeah.
And it's, and it's just, look, I've destroyed everything you worked for. You might as well just lay down and die.
Okay.
I hope the people in your base are well fed. You're like, oh shit, I've got to get my food together. And as you go through this game, you do pick up other survivors, but to begin with, it's just you and your daughter.
Yeah.
And you're trying to keep her alive, and you're trying to build this base up. And I've gone now over to the other mode where it's eternal lives. Basically, every time you die, you just get teleported back to your base, which is quite handy if your base gets attacked. You just got to find a monster nearby, get completely and utterly massacred by it, and you get teleported straight back to your base.
Oh, right.
So, and then you're there ready to fight.
I feel this may be a flaw in the plan.
I think so, and the demon hasn't realised this.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been playing quite a bit of that. Yeah, it's pretty, it's pretty full game. There's a lot to do.
Okie dokie. Does it have a gem game that Jim can get involved in?
You do collect shards in the game.
God, no.
I said shards, not shards.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No, let's not go there. No. No. Okay, well, I'll just speed through my week. Firstly, on TV, or rather on streaming. After your glowing recommendation last week, I went back to Archer and had a look at season 10, the new one, or the latest one that's on Netflix. Anyway, yeah, absolutely. Between me and Katie, we basically binged 7 episodes that evening.
Yeah, it works, doesn't it?
It's much better.
Just keep with the secret agent thing. None of this bloody 1940s detective bollocks or Tales of the Gold Monkey pilot thing.
Yep.
No,
it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and the whole trying out Nouvelles thing was pretty funny. We're burning through those at a rate of knots, literally. I mean, it's I think we'll have the whole season done probably by tomorrow. And then the only other thing really of note, I guess, is what me and Carol did on Friday night, which was we actually went out. And basically we went to the Electric Ballroom in Camden, which, if you've not been there, is basically like a relatively small. I say relatively small; it's still bloody huge. I mean, gig venue for bands, and essentially, what we did was we went to what's called Masseoke.
Masseoke,
and what that is that's karaoke en masse. So you're not talking about like just one person getting up to sing or 2 people or singing with a band. What you've got is this band that come up on stage. They have a playlist of music, which is just a all I can say is probably it's the best bits of the songs that you know. so they never finish a whole song. You never get a whole song. So what they'll do is they'll sing like the first opening sort of bars of, I don't know, Mamma Mia or something like this, and then essentially they kind of they've got all the words behind them, and then they get halfway through it, and they'll carry on playing, but the singer will drop off, and it leaves it to the entire crowd to carry on with the song. But should the crowd essentially start to fade, as they're really not getting it, they just go straight into another track. And if the crowd's really into it, they'll do the entire fucking song.
Brilliant.
And it was just wow. I mean, I have to say it was a really entertaining night, because the band themselves look like what you've done is you've got the darkness, 70s Queen, and maybe the Bay City Rollers, and then a little soups on of I don't know, like Spinal Tap, and you put them in a teleporter, and then what fell out was given a guitar and told to go busk, and it is really good stuff. I mean, they do not take themselves seriously in the slightest, but their musical playlist was eclectic for sure. It was fun. I mean, you go from 1 minute, you go from Journey, Don't Stop Believing, which I have a new appreciation for, having seen 400 people in a room literally sing it, to Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit, via Mr. Brightside by the Killers.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, over to things like Sweet Caroline, and then you go across to a sort of an ABBA medley, and then right in the middle of that you throw in a bit of there was one or two that just seemed to come out of left field, but House of Pain, Jump Around, or or the Spice Girls, Wannabe, or and then you go over to Queen, and you've got sort of like I Want to Break Free, and and then you've got sort of like fucking Nielsen, All by Myself.
Shit.
And it was so eclectic and so wide ranging, and it never stopped. I mean, they literally went from one song to the next without missing a beat. So you would 1 minute you'd be sitting there and you'd be they'd be blasting away Song 2 by Blur, and then a minute later you're into I don't know, like Yesterday, or Hey Jude by the Beatles, and then you go from that into another song, and it was just insane. But it worked. It really worked, and I think having a crowd of people all singing along, because they were all anthem-esque songs.
Yeah.
There was no song there where someone didn't know the bloody words. I'll tell you that for nothing. And like I say, and it was always just the best bits. If people started to peter off of it, or whatever, rather than do like the whole 10 minutes of Journey, they did kind of go, right, fine, we're off into something else. And it was just really good fun. It was the most fun I've had for a while. And it was really good just to be out, and I've now got my Apple Watch back up and running, because I'm now on my fitness thing after declaring it on the podcast last week.
Yeah.
And it was rather interesting that when I went into the electric ballroom, apparently in active calories, I'd burnt like 900 that day. But when I left the electric ballroom, I got an award for basically doubling my calorie burn up. And I left with 1,800 calories burnt up.
Very nice. Well done.
Because, like I say, because it's like a concert. So it's like you literally got people just standing there, jumping around like lunatics, dancing away, all the music, all the laser show, smoke, fireworks, you name it. And it's so you can, if you don't want to join in, you can just stand at the bar and just watch all this shit going on. It was so much fun. We are definitely going next time, Dal.
No,
without a doubt,
that's not a problem. I'm prone to a bit of a sing song.
Yeah, but you don't get up on stage with them. That's the only thing. It is all about the crowd thing, the anthem thing, and it was great. It was fantastic.
How much was it to get in?
I don't know how much it was to get in. I think it was just like a standard ticket entry, like 10, 15 quid or something like that. Sorry, Carol's nodding at me. What was it, Carol? 15 quid. There you go.
That sounds
That's not
like
bad,
a
is
good
it, at
night
all?
out.
No, and it was about 2.5 hours long, and then we got them on we got them to come back in for a sort of encore. At which point you get, like I say, you get Bohemian Rhapsody, you get Sweet Caroline, you get what was the other one? There was another one which was a big
Hey Jude, by any chance?
Well, Hey Jude was one, but Prince's Purple Rain. They did the whole of that.
Really?
They did the whole of that.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It was so eclectic. Even if there isn't a song that you like at the moment, you'd like the next one coming along.
Yeah.
Because, I think they even had one like some people think I'm bonkers. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even remember who that's by.
That's was it
Stormzy,
Bonkers?
isn't it?
Yeah, it was something like that.
No,
Bonkers.
God, I can't remember his flipping
What's his
name
name?
now.
No, it's not, is it? It's
Some people think I'm
bonkers.
Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah, but you got all the lyrics going up as well. So that was
right.
that was what ran into House of Pain Jump Around, which then run into Song 2 by Blur.
Got you.
Oh, and then there was also some Oasis in there. I think it was
Wonderwall.
No, it wasn't.
No,
No, it was Don't Look
Dizzy
Back.
Rascal, sorry.
Dizzy
There we go.
Rascal.
That's
That's
the
it.
one.
It was Don't Look Back in Anger.
Oh man,
Yeah,
love that song.
and again, 400 people all singing it all out.
Yeah.
It was just amazing, just so much fun.
Did they have any elbow?
No, they did not.
Oh, I'm so surprised because it's like every single one of their tracks is like built for stadium singing.
Yeah, the chorus would be, but the opening isn't. And that's the
No.
thing. All the openings are songs that you'd know straight away. I mean, literally within like 2 bars, you'd go Summer of '69, Bryan Adams, or or like I say, or sort of you hear Prince, Let's Go Crazy or something like that come out. Or Franz Ferdinand, or
Cotton Eye Joe.
Cotton. Yeah, it is just like that exactly. Or like I say, House of Pain's another one where it goes dum, 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 bum, and they're all playing it live. And it's just like wow, superb, great stuff.
Then we'll have to do that.
We will. It's the best 10-15 quid you'll ever spend, I tell you. And that's called Masseoke, and the band was called Rockstar Weekend. Look them up, because I think they're doing like 4 or 5 gigs between now and Christmas, like
Right.
sort of set apart, and they're all themed around certain bits.
Do you know what? There is something very not like that. You know that the rock band thing that we did go to.
What, a Madame Jojo's?
Yeah, I think it was. Well, we did. I think we did this twice, didn't we?
That was Rocky. That was called Rockyoke. That was.
Yeah, the Rockyoke. That's right. Where you get up and sing with a band.
Mm.
There is one that I do want to try. That's where you get up and sing with a full choir. Right?
Oh, blimey.
They do rock hits, but they've got like the full like gospel choir with you singing a song. And I want to get up and do "Somebody to Love" by Queen. They've got that on the track listing. And you really get into it, and you get dressed up in the smock and stuff like this, and you get
my
to join
God.
the guys on stage,
Nice.
and it's just you've got this choir backing you up. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just get up on stage and go, right, we'd like a Duel of the Fates. I'll just stand here, you carry it away.
and away you go.
And away you go. I'll just
play the
stand
part
here.
of John Williams.
Yeah, I'll wave my arms about a little bit. So that's it, really. That was my week. Yeah, like I say, otherwise on the health kick thing, which I said I wasn't going to talk about. Yeah, I've been burning that old iWatch help. I've knocked out half a stone in.
I
in a
don't
week.
want to know what you've knocked out, mate. All right,
Yeah.
okay.
You know it. Yeah. So
I've not just knocked one out. I've knocked 34.
Yeah. No, so for the international audience, I've lost £7, or I lost £7 or half a stone, or what's that in kilos?
What's that in dog years?
I don't know. I was going to say it's something like 4.5 kilos or something like that. Anyway, but I've done that in a week.
Wow.
So
well done.
I'm back on track, baby. I'm on the way. And that's it. That's been my week. Yes, I will have a much better week for you. Not next week, but the week after. Because next week, ladies and gentlemen, after the podcast, I'm going down to Bristol for a meeting. But it's a quote-unquote works fun meeting.
Oh,
and what we've been asked to do, you will not believe they're paying for me to go down and do. I cannot wait to tell you. I cannot wait to tell you, but you're going to have to wait a fortnight. I wouldn't have gone if it wasn't for this podcast and knowing that I'm going to come out the other end with a story. Otherwise, I would have just fucking sacked that off and said, no, I'm not going down to that.
Are you going to have to build your own transport to get home out of Lego?
No, but you're not far away.
Okay.
You're not far away. There is somehow. I'm just doing a little juicy dangler here, but there's some creative element to it. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
For now. So wait for a fortnight. Juicy dangler. It's coming in. Right. And before we go over to the review, we do have a little bit of feedback. But mainly, it's just responding to last week's "How was your week?" from Darren. Yeah, last week we did Parasite. Nobody saw it, obviously, and so nobody responded to it.
Right.
But Odile Thomas wrote in to say, Carl and I, Darren, this is her writing it. Darren, Carl and I turned up to a mystery screening at Cineworld once, and we realised we were about to watch Crawl. We walked out. The trailers that we'd seen had been enough of a warning. Totally agree with you, however, about the Final Girls. We thoroughly enjoyed it. And John Campion also writes in to say that Final Girls is great. I've been waiting to see that for ages. When both it and Anna and the Apocalypse, another low-budget horror, came out, both turned up at the same time, and I watched them. He doesn't comment on Anna and the Apocalypse.
Oh, I've actually watched that. I did buy it on Blu-ray, and it's a zombie musical.
Yeah, I know. It was. Go on.
Music's not bad at all in it.
Okay.
I've got to say,
because it is on Amazon Prime, and it was on my potential list, but I have dumped it because I don't think a zombie musical is right up our street, to be honest.
There's a niche I never thought would be filled.
If I've got to say, I think even Maria, my 13-year-old, she could have watched Anna in the Apocalypse. It's not.
It's not whether or not you want to watch it; it's whether or not it's any good. I don't think I can take a terrible musical.
It's not, but the like I say, the songs aren't bad. They really aren't. It kind of does lose its way a little bit. As I wouldn't. I don't know. Me personally,
wouldn't dedicate an episode of this cast to it.
I don't think I would.
No, so I made a good call there. That's handy.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you're doing like a list of interesting concepts for a zombie movie, then there is this one. But there's also, this is not the first zombie musical. There's I think it's a Korean one that came out, and it's called it's the Somethings. It's the name of the family.
Karaoke of the Undead.
No, it's a family that go on holiday to a cottage out in a very countrified part of Korea, and there's a zombie apocalypse, and it's this family having to band together to fight off the zombies, and apparently that's really good.
Okay, well if that comes up, I might think about it. But I have to say, I'm personally a bit washed out on zombies as an entire concept, so I might steer clear for a while. Okay, so that was our week. That was our feedback. If anybody has any other feedback, whether it's on this episode, Parasite, any of the other episodes we've done up until now, then by all means, send in some feedback to feedback@blackdogpodcast.com, or, as Odile and John Campion did, jump on the Facebook group and then put your feedback underneath the episode, and we will get to it. I think there was actually a piece of feedback. I think there was a piece of feedback for another episode, but I can't find it at the precise moment, so I'm going to have to apologise to whoever did that. Yeah, so I'm very sorry about that. But anyway, so we shall get... If I find it, I will read it out next week. Anyway, so let's just put a pause on things. Let's roll the jingle, and then we're going to come back for Logan Lucky. Or whether or not Winds of Winter's come out yet. But we'll talk about that another time. Anyway, roll the jingle.
I see it's nearly 5 o'clock. I'm here at home, my work's all done. No question where I'll be tonight, a place of cinematic fun. It's the lockdown, but I will not pout. Oh, my friends, I won't be seeing this out alone. There's Lee and Elton and Jim and Darren, all sitting far apart for social distance. We're at the shut-in cinema, down in the bunker of shun. Down in the bunker of shun.
Hey fellas, it's been nearly 5 years. You gonna let me out now or what?
No. Right, so Logan Lucky. No, so I'm not going to do it in that accent because it's as good as my Christopher Walken accent. Logan Lucky is 2017 American heist comedy film directed by Steven Soderbergh, who had previously, until that point, apparently retired, but not again. Anyway, it's based on a screenplay by Rebecca Blunt, a lady who has no other IMDb credits and is strongly suspected to be Soderbergh himself working under a pseudonym. Soderbergh came out of retirement to direct this film, as I said, thanks for that wiki, and distributed it independently through his own company, not going via anything like Warner Brothers or any of those big companies. The film features an ensemble cast consisting of Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, Riley Keough, Daniel Craig, Seth MacFarlane doing the worst English accent you've ever heard, Katie Holmes, Hilary Swank, Catherine Waterston, and Sebastian Stan. The film follows the Logan family in their attempts to rob the Charlotte Motor Speedway whilst avoiding security officers and the FBI. Logan Lucky premiered on August 9th, 2017 in Knoxville, Tennessee, and was released a week later and has received mostly positive reviews. And it had a budget of $29 million. And how much did it make, Jim?
64 million.
64 million, okie dokie. And
Gummy
Elton,
bears.
Gummy. Ah, there you go. I knew there'd be a punchline coming. And what about you, Elton?
Oh, there's no punchline from me today.
Mm-hmm.
How much did you say it cost to make?
It cost $29 million.
I'm gonna go with 55.
Okay, and Darren?
I think it made one Mustang and 54 false arms.
Nice. You don't suck my arm off.
One cauliflower.
Why did you say cauliflower to me? Yes, it had a box office of 48.5 million. There you go. So it didn't do bad at all, especially considering Soderbergh wrote it, produced it, and everything else. I think he's probably rolling in it. There's not a lot else I'm going to read out here, so we'll just go around the usual top table. Darren, this was your pick, so you go last, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start with you, Elton. What do you think of Logan Lucky?
This was the very first time I'd seen this.
Mm-hmm.
And my top line answer is, it was all right, but it took a long time getting around to what it was there to do. It's a heist movie. Heist movies are meant to be sharp and witty, and the comedy's good. I think what we get from the actors is very good and very amusing in most places as well. I don't remember anything about it, though. I don't remember any lines from it. it took too long to get to the heist. The heist was too laborious, and then at the end, it just went off on a tangent. So it was all right. Not what I was expecting, though.
Okie dokie. And what about you, Jim?
Well, I had no idea what I was going in for. I mean, this could have been a crossover between Lucky Luke and Logan's Run, for all I knew.
Not so lucky, Luke.
I'm not sure I was expecting Ocean's 11 King of the Hill edition.
Nice.
But I did actually really enjoy it once I sort of settled into the... where it's... Oh, right, it's a hillbilly heist movie. Okay.
Yeah.
And I did really have a lot of fun with it. So it was a pleasant surprise.
Okie dokie. For me, this is the second time of watching it. First time I wasn't as enamoured with it as I was this time round. I was kind of in the same place as Elton the first time round. It was like it's pleasant enough. The characters are interesting enough. There's lots of little bits and bobs that are kind of floating around. But I came away thinking half that film was pointless. We could have just gone straight to the heist and been quite happy about it. But the second time round, you settle into the rhythm. You know what's coming. You know how to feel about it, and almost what you're prepared mentally that this isn't going to be a Ocean's 11 kind of snappy kind of thing. Then you find it's a lot. You get into the pace of it, and I enjoyed it the second time a lot more than I did the first. So I'll leave it there, because we may get into more of that later. And what about you, Darren? This is your first time of watching it, and it was your pick. So what did you think?
I enjoyed it. I must admit, I was feeling quite sort of sleepy before I started watching it. I thought, let's see if I can get through this film. And I must admit, I woke up sort of like watching it. It kept me glued to the screen. There was some, it had me chuckling in place. It didn't have me like laughing out really loud at anything. I've just found it pleasant to watch. It was just a really nice watch. With some, there were a couple of standout performances in it. One of them being Adam Driver. Who I don't know. I just think he's a really good actor. I just enjoy watching him.
Yeah.
Apart from the Star Wars stuff, but anything else I've seen him in, I've really enjoyed him in. So he gets my vote there. And another one that a character who is basically aged around about 8 but going on 64 was Channing Tatum's daughter. As well, it was just some of the lines she delivered. It was just like, that shouldn't be coming out of the mouth of a small child like that. That's far too mature the way she delivers that line. Where she's sort of like at the end of it, where she's talking about, oh yeah, I've given up the pageantry thing now. I've been watching MasterChef. It's just a conversation she has with her dad. On that, and it's like, I don't know what is she related to him? It doesn't seem like it is, because she seems far more intelligent than Channing Tatum's character.
Yeah. Cool. And so overall, you enjoyed it then, presumably?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okie dokie. Well, then let's get into it. I mean, I guess at the heart of it is the heist, and I guess any good heist movie is only as good as your ability to follow the plot and get invested in it, and the stakes and everything. So, I mean, following
it's
that
kind
line,
of essential, though, isn't it?
It is kind of essential. So I guess we'll just jump straight in with that. How did you feel about that central plot? Did you feel invested? Did you feel the stakes involved? I mean, because look at something like Ocean's 11, which Soderbergh also did. You've got the fear of being caught. The fact that Andy Garcia's guy is a killer, and not only that, he's knocking off Clooney's wife, and there's lots of extra sort of like tentacles and things at stake here rather than just the money. Going to Logan Lucky, which is essentially following a very similar sort of template of assembling a crew. How did you guys feel about this? this is a sort of high stakes heist. Did you feel the stakes? Did you feel the plan? How did that go for you? Go on.
It's it's when those bits start to go wrong, and you feel it's like the little things. Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. Like I felt those bits from the characters, and I've got to be honest. I like films where they show you later on the stuff that was going on in the background, and if they film it right, if they've written it right, then it's like there's a good few Tarantino films where they've done that. Things like Pulp Fiction, and that where it all comes together in the end because they show you the same situation from a different point of view,
right?
And things like Jackie Brown, it was very much in that sort of vein,
right? Because I was going to say, because does that sort of thing, and this is throwing it open to everyone. I mean, does that sort of thing not feel like a cheat? Suddenly showing you the heist, and then showing you, well, actually, all the thing that you thought was going on over here is all going on over there. Something's completely different. Jim?
Well, that's kind of par for the course in heist movies, that you have the heist and you see so much of it, then there's something else that's gone on that they show you later. I think the thing with heist movies is, what I find enjoyable about them is you never actually know which way they're going to go. Because, I mean, if you go back, probably the great granddaddy, one of the greatest heist movies ever made, which is the original The League of Gentlemen. No,
yes.
not that colour shite. Original black and white movie, which Alan Moore borrowed the title from. About a bunch of, ex-military men who are a bit disgruntled with post-war Britain and feel they've hadn't had their due, and they plan this, being military men, they think they can pull off the perfect bank raid. It doesn't go according to plan, and that's stayed true in heist movies. Unlike, say, like the sport movie, where the plucky underdog is going to win. End of story. Skip to the end. In a heist movie, it can always be a 50-50 because the nature of heist movies, a lot of comedy in them, and sometimes the ultimate punchline is they didn't escape. They didn't escape. They overlooked one thing, or just one random, stupid, absurd thing. Tumbled the whole house of cards, and the last shot is like wah 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 wah, all off to jail in the back of the paddy wagon.
Yeah.
So I think in this, it was interesting because kind of like, oh, hang on, so why did you get rid of the money? You can't have got rid of the money. But it sets you up to there is going to be something more.
Yeah.
I need that ending explained to me as well. But we'll do that in a minute. But I definitely need that explained to me.
Okay. Well, just to follow on from Jim's point, then, Elton. What did you think? Do you feel the stakes, and did you also feel that showing all the stuff going on in the background was a cheat, or how did you feel about it?
I don't ever feel that it's a cheat. That's kind of what I go into a heist movie for. I really like the stuff going on behind and trying to work it out. And if it's so crudely done that you don't notice anything whatsoever, then you're like, oh, they did that. Oh, that's how they painted themselves out of this corner. Okay. You will feel a bit cheated, but it was fine. I found it very hard with Joe Bang. He seems like the person who, if he was out, he would be out and disappear. And the fact that they got him out of prison and then put him back into prison, it's a long, convoluted way, especially with Adam Driver's character getting into prison to then get him out of prison, to then get back into prison, to get back out. It seems a bit okay. Is it? Something's not quite working there for me. It's a bit too much going on. Where really it should be slicker. I know these are kind of redneck type things, but it felt like it should have been a bit slicker.
But I think that's the one thing I would say in counter to that. And like I say, anyone else want to chime in, by all means do so. That was kind of, and this is more of a second viewing kind of perspective, is that's the whole point. You expect a Ocean's 11 slickety slick, quicker than quick, but you're getting is you're not getting Beverly Hills 90210. You're getting more like
Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah, or sort of
Hank Hill 210.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, more like Catford SE12 rather than Beverly Hills 90210. So it was all a bit more. I think that was kind of the shout, and I hate this phrase. It was the subverting expectations, and frankly, any film that starts with that as a premise can go fuck itself normally. But
there are a couple of moments where I'm a bit confused as to then that's just easy for them to get in, etc. With the brothers, okay, they just mosey on down into the tunnels where they're building, where they're digging. That's it. They just mosey on down there. They say hello to the foreman. That's it. Maybe I'm getting a bit union on everyone, but maybe they should be checking their IDs before they go in. Maybe they should be swiping it. It just seems too easy for them to walk in. And then in the next shot, after they've put all the cockroaches in the pipes to find out what one goes where, they're there fumigating. It's... How is that? How are you allowed near a bank vault to fumigate?
Well, firstly, and again, I know I'm the one jumping in here, so if anyone else has got a theory, by all means, go for it. I think, firstly, going down into the basement was the fact that it was the builders, and the builders could only get in if they knew the code. Yeah?
Yeah, there's a keypad, yeah.
The keypad, which he discovered, which was Christmas Day, so 12/25 in American terms. But so that was the first thing. They were down there because they could be down there. That kind of, and those two security guards were thick as pig shit, as we find out later on. Do you smell smoke? Going up and down the tunnels, like there's something crazy going on here.
Yeah.
And then with the discovering the cockroaches and doing all the fumigation. That wasn't the vault. That was the offices outside.
But right next to the vault, though.
Yeah.
Right next door to that vault. So,
but that's no different than a bank. I mean, that's just going into the offices of a bank.
It just seems there's just too. It's too easy. It just seems. Oh well. Look, we'll have them fumigating exactly where the cockroaches were because that's how we need them to find out what colour cockroaches went in there. Yeah. And in maybe something else, you would have someone inside the vault who's worked their way into the bank and then is a cashier or working in that office to then report that back. But then that puts someone else on the payroll. And it becomes escalated from that point. But this just seemed, now they're fumigating. Okay. How does can I just go in there and just start fumigating and make myself look like that? And it just, I think I'm looking too deep into this. But it was something that was drawing me out.
Yeah, I mean. I think maybe that speaks to that old problem of if you're questioning it, then you're not engrossed in it. Do you know what I mean? I've often found that watching certain films where if you're sitting there going, well, they took 10 steps to go up those stairs and now they're taking only 1 to go down those stairs. If you're picking holes in it, or I'm not having a go at you, but I'm just saying if you're picking holes in a film for something that should be hand waved away, either the film is the sort of film that needs that kind of analysis, or you're in a position where you're just not involved or engaged with it, and you're just looking at it going, well, why would that happen? Because I felt very similar to you the first time round, and the first time round I'm sitting there going, they must have spent more money than they were ever likely to steal on the equipment, on the explosives, on all the costumes, on all the gear, all the props, and all this kind of stuff. And when you're looking at like Ocean's 11, you got Danny Ocean, who's a con man. You go, right, okay, so he's conned his way out of that stuff, and Brad Pitt's the guy who acquires things through charm. So you say, okay, right, fine, so this is how they've got the stuff. You don't sit there and go, why has Don Cheadle got an electromagnet the size of a small car?
Yeah.
Your brain just kind of naturally makes those leaps. But when you've got, 4 hillbillies who... two of whom you can constantly see picking out pig's trotters using their own teeth.
Yep.
You go, well, how the fuck did they get some official uniforms? And, how did they get, firemen's uniforms? How did they get this, that, and the other? And if you'd start to question it in that respect, then the film's already lost you, I suspect.
So I enjoyed it, but then we get on to like the end, and I'm a bit confused as to why it's dragging on a little bit. And it then introduced what's her name?
Hilary Swank.
Karate Kid. Yeah, Hilary Swank into everything, and I'm like, okay, well, isn't that? Maybe it's going back to the film school 101, where you should introduce someone at the very beginning to then turn up later on, or have them part of the story all the way through. It just felt like we need to pad this out a little bit. We've done the heist. I thought it was going to last a bit longer. Let's add something on to the end.
Okay. Has anyone else got any thoughts on that then?
Well, you can't have the cops come and investigate the heist until it's been done, basically.
Well, that's true. However, come on. I mean, no, I take your
setup though, isn't there?
And also,
well, unless you give her a crystal ball, I think some hillbillies are going to rob NASCAR. I don't see how you can do it, really. We're having a lot of extraneous plot threads. We're investigating other things that won't relate to anything.
But I mean, in fairness, though, I will just say in Nelton's defence on that one is that there are heist movies that have been done before, and I'm sure we've all seen them, where the cop is almost one of the high stakes protagonists or antagonists, that they're kind of always looming over the background, hiding in the background, that they know something's happening, and they're another thing to avoid or divert. And the whole thing of bringing in the senior cop for basically 4 scenes as a final act at the end is maybe a little. Do you know what I mean? I know what you're saying, Jim, because you can't have a cop without the crime.
Yeah,
but
no, that makes total sense. And
then you've got films
for thinking that.
But then you've got films like Heat, for example, which is an extreme version of the other way, where you've got sort of Al Pacino knowing that something's going down, and spending like 90% of the film looking out to see what the hell it is and who's involved. While you've also got the rest of the film involved with Robert De Niro doing the same thing the other way, planning the thing out, trying to make it happen, and then they kind of cross paths about midway through the film, and that, okay, I'm watching you and you're watching me, so we're both each other's nemesis in this film, and we may never meet again. However, just be aware that we're both aware of each other, sort of thing. I mean, it's not an uncommon trope, is what I'm saying, and it just seems to flow smoother when you see the good guys, the robbers, so to say, get away with it under the nose of the bad guy of the cop who's been pursuing them throughout the film. The Alonzo Mosley of the film, if you know what I mean. Kind of following them through, shadowing them all the way through. But I also take the point you can't have a crime and not have the police involved at the end. But maybe it could have been smoother.
I think they're there, though, because the whole point with the ending is that on his list, one of the last points is don't get greedy. And that's the last twist of the heist, is that he's worked out that if he dumps a ton of money, NASCAR will go, okay, then we've got something to work with for the insurance claim. And basically, NASCAR might have lost a lot of money, but they're going to now screw the insurance company because who can say exactly how much went,
Yeah.
And therefore, we're not going to press charges. We've clawed the money back from the insurance people. And let's face it, we all hate the insurance companies, so fuck them.
Yeah.
We don't care. You FBI, no, we're not interested anymore now. Sorry, it's done. It's a done deal. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
There's money in my pocket again. Fuck off. Don't rock the boat.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
The last thing I want is you finding some nimnos with a ton of money and the insurance company going, hang on a minute, you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got that he handed it back. I take it he didn't hand it all back, though.
No, that's it. He handed back a certain amount. There's another in that flashback. You see, there's a whole other stack of garbage bags.
Yeah.
So he's dividing what they took into two. There's two that are going to get dumped to take the heat off and to allow NASCAR to play the insurance fraud game.
Right.
And
allowing them to get away scot-free.
Yeah. And the second bunch is when his sister is dressed up as one of the kiosk people. She goes in and helps the brothers load up 5 or 6 more bin bags.
Yep.
While Joe Bang and his brothers are trying to fuck about with the gate.
Yeah.
Which has been deliberately sabotaged to keep them busy.
Yes.
Yep.
And then that way, they go out thinking they've got all the money. So if they go out with all the money, they think they've got this money. The money then gets found. They obviously go into hiding, thinking they've been fucked over. And then the real money turns up the right way after 6 months because, it's the heat's died down. And as you say, Jim, the insurance has been claimed.
So with Hillary at the end in the bar, is that her as a copper? Or is that her as, these guys got money?
No, I think that's deliberately ambiguous. I think that's her as she ain't going to give it up. She has to know.
Oh, see, okay.
Yeah. Even though, if she brought them all in, NASCAR probably wouldn't press charges because that would mean the end of their insurance claim. So it's more of a professional thing. She's going to maybe reel them in. Anyway.
Right. Oh, see.
Go on.
I saw it all. I sat there and I don't know, I just got a bit confused towards the end.
Which is where I come back to the whole point about the flashbacks, feeling like a cheat, because that almost feels like part of what you should have seen from the start. So bamboozling the audience feels like, and this is how we got out of something, we painted ourselves into a corner.
Do you not think they could have had a lot more comedy out of doing it all sequential instead of having it as a flashback? That could have been hilarious. Them fucking around with the gate while what's his name? Adam Driver and the sister are bagging up something else
and trying to get his arm out of the bloody machine.
That could have worked. I think that would have worked better instead of doing the flashback thing and this is how we did it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, Darren, I was going to say, I get what Elton's saying about the comedy could be more, but did you have a problem with the ending? Did you have a problem with that flashback and all that kind of stuff?
No. No, and I kind of like the fact that, all right, there isn't a sequel. And as far as I know, they're not planning one. But it
No.
was just nice to end that thing with, Hilary Swank being in the bar. So fucking with her eyes on the lot of them. Like, one false move and you lot are fucking done.
Yeah, I've gotcha. Fucking gotcha. Okay. I mean, the other thing I was going to ask was, how did you feel about all the extraneous bump? Because, as we said before, the heist movie as a format. I mean, funny enough, Darren, you're going to find out how much of a format it is when you get to Rick and Morty season 4. And they do a whole episode which is just a piss take on heist movies. But how did you guys feel about all the extraneous bump around it? So like the stuff with the kids' beauty pageant stroke talent pageant, and the whole stuff with the wife moving away, and the sister fucking about with cars and whatnot. How did you feel that helped the film, or did you feel that just slowed it down even more?
Well, I think you have to give the whole reason why he's doing this some emotional weight, because he doesn't seem like a master criminal. He'd have to have something really driving him to get him to do what he did, and I kind of appreciated that, Saying that, after the whole thing had been done, it just seems as though, I don't know, maybe they should have had him finishing the actual heist about halfway through the movie and had the other half as the police investigation. Because it just seemed a little bit, I don't know, it seemed a little bit front heavy, if you know what I mean.
Well, that kind of goes back to Elton's point, isn't it? That, suddenly having the cop appear at literally the last knockings.
Yeah, you would have thought they would have given that a little bit more time. That. But, well, there you go, they didn't. I still like the film, though.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that whole thing at the end reminds me of, I don't know if any of you have seen Ocean's 8. The all-female version of Ocean's 11.
No, I'd like to, though.
Yeah, well, it's just that there's a whole thing like that even more acutely in the last 5 minutes with James Corden as an investigator.
Oh, well, then I'm not going to be watching it.
Yeah, well, exactly. And he literally just turns up for literally 5 minutes to do exactly what happens here in this film.
The only time I want James Corden to be turned up is when they take his dead body off that horse and slump it on the floor. That is the only time I will accept that.
Hey, hang on. You can't mention James Corden without his parents getting onto podcasts and generally having a go at people if they don't like him.
Really?
Yeah, that happened with a BBC podcast. I'll let other people do the googling. But when someone was reviewing, was it Peter Rabbit, and referred to it as irritating rabbit, and James Corden's parents actually wrote into the podcast to say, "Oi, leave our son alone."
Really?
Yep.
Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. But there you go. Okay, so what about the humour? I mean, the humour in this is kind of veers between sort of like slapstick with things like Joe Bang doing the thing with the gummy bears, and then saying, is it 20 feet? Or is it 20 seconds or 30 seconds? This is science here. Yeah. And then, and then that whole thing getting sucked into the air tube and then getting stuck, and then thoop, it's coming back. It's like, oh fuck.
The bit where he runs and hides behind a wall, and you've got Adam Driver and Channing Tatum standing there looking at one another like, I think we better move.
Yeah, that whole double take sort of slapstick. And then on the other hand, you've got what I thought actually the second time around a lot more amusing, which is the whole fake riot in the prison with them making sort of like requests such as releasing the 2 new Game of Thrones books, and they haven't even been written yet. Yeah, the Winds of Winter and the Dance of Spring are not even written yet. Oh. You want, it's like, that's bullshit. Friend came over from the other prison and said that he'd seen it all, and it's like, that's the TV show. It's gone past the books. Oh, and shit like that made me laugh a lot. I was just wondering what you thought about the comedy in it, because
I like that bit.
Yeah.
Big burly sort of prisoners, all just really concerned about whether they're going to get to read the next George Martin or George R.R. Martin novel.
But the humour itself is kind of veers between that sort of clever humour, so to speak, the sort of dialogue heavy humour, and then the kind of slight crazy slapstick. And I didn't know if that sat well with most of you, or was there bits that, like I say, the joke of the arm being sucked off and all that kind of stuff?
I think the best moments were when you had Tatum, Driver, and what's his name, Craig, sat down and just talking to themselves. Especially that first moment in the prison when Joe Bang comes out. I forget. See, I really enjoy the comedy in this, but I'm really struggling to think of any quotes for it apart from the cauliflower.
Yeah.
But because it's all in the accent as well. You need the accent to go with it as well, because Adam Driver, there's a couple of things about, he's talking about bacon, and then there's another one. There's just some really good moments, but I can't describe them. That's the thing. I really enjoyed them 3 being on the screen the most, and I think they worked really well together as well.
Yeah, that whole "you Logans must be as simple-minded as they say," and then it's like the pair of them go, "People say that?" This is sort of thing. Yeah, it's just little bits like that. You boys got a quarter, and it's like, okay, where's this going? You kind of expecting a breakout kind of there. And it's like, go over to that vending machine, press 25, and then come back with a pair of eggs. It's just like, okay. It's just a bit weird. But
there was another bit with the brothers as well.
We know all the Twitters.
Not that. I'm trying to find it on IMDb. It's not coming up. But it's the moment they were talking about the shop, and there was some fornicating, or I forget what it was, what they said, but the way that Driver delivers it is just, it was brilliant. Then the brothers go off and go, hey, look, we'll have a little discussion about this. Are you in? Yeah, okay, fine. And then they turn back. Of course they're in.
Yeah. He was being improper with my sister, or something like that, isn't it? It's just like he laid his hands upon her, or something really bizarre, kind of really overly ornate kind of language.
I think a lot of the comedy for myself was in the actual accents, the delivery of it as well. Because I did, like you said, Darren, I wasn't belly rolling, but I was chuckling along, and I found some really, really funny.
It was nice and light, It was the sort of thing you come home, you watch after a shitty day at work, and it's like there's no psychomaniacs in the film. There's no darkness about it at all. It's just, it's good people trying to make their way in the world, and you actually, you go along, you root for them.
Yeah.
Hoping that it gets done.
When Rihanna sings Umbrella, she's not really singing about rain umbrella. She's really singing about her vagina. It's cold.
Yeah, that's it. And was it? I see you had some kind of robbery to-do list on your fridge.
I like the governor. We don't have that kind of problem at Monroe.
God, yeah, the governor who's just absolutely
He's the mayor from Jaws.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And that's...
He does have one of the best line where Hilary Swank confronts him and goes, you where these people know him. Are you asking me if I'm surprised if some felons know other felons?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. The humor is one of those things where it's kind of like it's sort of casually sarcastic. I mean, the one that this time around really made me laugh was when he was when Joe Bangs, was it Daniel Craig, is doing the whole thing with the bomb. Oh, sorry, you can't call it a bomb. It's an explosive device, and he pours the gummy bears in, and he pours the glue or whatever it is in there, and in the fake salt, and they're all looking at him like, is that it? But then it cuts. It does like this hard cut, and he's literally writing out chemical formulas on the wall for these guys. So what you do is you carry across the ions, and you balance the equation. And they're like, okay, I thought you were going to use a stick of dynamite.
and then you have the brothers going, okay, 1 into 3, and then 3 into 2, and 2 into 3, and then in the 4.
Yeah.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was, and the 2 cops who pull over the lady in purple.
Oh yeah.
when the blue Mustang comes racing past, and it's like, you see that? See what? Can you focus here? This woman needs containing, and there's this sort of old lady in this purple car, just not a threat to anyone. And
see, maybe that would have worked a bit better if, like the Mr. Bean thing, where that woman was constantly getting in trouble. She was constantly the foil for them to actually make it through the heist. But really, it was just used once.
Yeah. Because
it seems a bit of a waste. And also, with the car speeding through, for them, once again, it's reality biting me for no reason whatsoever, but speeding through and then the copper's not noticing that. It's just, come on, I get the joke, but it could have been done a little better.
But I think that was the whole thing, was that one of the themes running throughout the whole thing was that everyone in charge from top to bottom was more focused on what they were doing at the time, following the rules they were allowed to follow, and looking like they were doing things importantly. It was small people pretending to be important, which I think is another kind of, I suppose, hidden theme in there. You know, the police, they could go and chase down someone in a Mustang racing past, or they could do this fucking job of arresting this old lady in purple because she's an easy catch, and they've been told that she's an important arrest sort of thing. Or the guy who's running the prison, he's the best damn prison warden in the area, and he's gonna damn well not have a problem in his prison at all.
Come hell or high water.
Exactly, and it's all about and the guy who runs the speedway. They'd rather ignore the problem and be seen to be doing their job. And that seems to kind of flow all the way through. That, rather than ignore the problem, rather than deal with the problem, they'll ignore it or blame it on someone else or do anything to deflect. And it's that level of incompetence. And it goes right down to the security guards looking for the smoke.
We have that with the teal people as well.
The teal people.
Phone it in.
Just phone it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do anything. There's no free will. There's no independent thought. It's just, just let someone else deal with it.
Yeah.
And then it's only when that's why the FBI agent, Hilary Swank, just seems so utterly abrupt because she's actually thinking these things through and applying like logical thought to things, and everyone's just like, I don't care. And that's essentially it. That's the attitude for everyone running the show all the way through. It's like, I don't care. The prison warden, the race driver, the race car, the sponsor owner, Seth MacFarlane in the most appalling Harry Enfield Scouser's wig I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
I mean, his character, what did we think about him? I mean, because that was one bit where I definitely felt like it was put in as a gag and was just all it was doing was just eating up oxygen of the movie.
Well, thankfully he wasn't in it for so long, because, I mean, that joke, it can run very thin, sort of like, after a short amount of time. So I think they did the right thing of just putting him in, a sprinkling of him, rather than, letting him be in there as constant.
Yeah. But did he even need to be in there is what I'm saying. What did that whole thread of him and the energy drink with Sebastian Stan as the driver?
Yeah.
I mean, it all just, it just ate time, if you know what I mean. If you took that whole thing out, the bit at the beginning of the bar, obviously you can see a bit of that kind of coming through that they get identified later on. But the whole, have my energy drink, you're sponsored, damn it. I mean, was that something to do with racing that I'm just not into at all?
I think you just needed to have a reason for him to actually be there when they were walking up the tunnel, And it's like, this is going to be the bloke that almost gets him done.
Mm. What did everyone else think? It was Jim?
I think it was just as Darren said, it's a setup for introducing a wild card into the heist. Their bit of fun at the start might come back and bite them on the ass. But I think there was probably a couple of things as well that if you know NASCAR would be funnier.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. There was a few things in there where I kind of felt like there was jokes going on, and they were just flying over my head. I mean, as our official race commentator of the group, Elton, is there anything there that you felt like, after seeing all the NASCAR bits, was there anything there? I know you're more Formula One, but
yeah,
is there bits? If it was Formula One, would certain gags have worked?
Oh, it would have jarred me so much because I'd have to pull it to pieces for it. So I'm so glad it wasn't. It just feels so wrong. There's not much I really noticed. Even the guy who pulled over the lady in the purple car, that's supposed to be an ex NASCAR driver as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I only know that because of trivia on IMDb.
God bless IMDb.
Yeah, God bless IMDb. But no, I think it's with Seth and that character, it felt a little out of place. A bit too caricature. With the hair, with the hat, and with the accent and the bombastic personality. And it just felt a little too much.
I've been to Florida. They're not too much.
Okay, there you go. That'll
Don't be prejudicial.
What part of Florida?
I've been all over Florida. But you know what I mean? It's kind of... Before I'd been to America, I would see them as caricatures, and now as the stereotypes. And the difference is, caricatures are exaggerated. Stereotypes are just lumping together common things that are common. And there are dozens of guys who talk like that, who have what look like, the comedy joke shop hair coming out from the baseball cap.
Yep. Yeah. But, I mean, I mean, have you how did you feel about the Seth MacFarlane apart from the sort of, obviously he needed to be there. He was kind of a MacGuffin for being detected. Was there any reason to have him in the Sebastian Stan sequence, for example? As you say, it could have been just a NASCAR gag, but
I think it just makes it all hang together because I think having these kind of characters pop up makes it more feel like a self-contained world.
Oh, right, like a world-building thing rather than anything else. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Does feel a little shoehorned that you have an actor just driving NASCAR. I'm sure actors do it. I know. I forget his name now, but he does Le Mans. His name slips my mind, but
there was Steve McQueen. Who did all that. I mean, I don't think
at the moment as well.
Right, I don't know.
Oh, what's his name does it as well? Not Benedict Banana. What? What's his flipping name?
What? I don't know.
I'm trying to remember his name. I can see his face. Okay, he was in Inglourious Basterds. He was in Prometheus.
Oh, you mean Michael Fassbender?
Yeah, he does racing as well.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Learn something new every day. I mean, no. I mean, Sebastian Stan isn't playing Sebastian Stan doing the racing, though.
No, but Seth's character, in the very beginning in the bar, he said, "Yes, I am a very important actor. I'm very famous."
Mm-hmm.
So he mentions that he's an actor there.
Yeah, he's an influencer, isn't he? And that's probably just Soderbergh having a dig, because I don't think he likes online social media-y type stuff.
Yeah. But I think you had to have that moment in the middle, otherwise Seth would have just been in the bar and then walking around the stadium for no reason.
But then how is that different? That's what I'm saying. That was the only bit that just. I mean, I appreciated it for it as a little vignette on its own. Do you know what I mean? I would have sat there and watched just that. It's like no, something like a notes from the racing track or something like that, and you see a little YouTube video of someone, like a little vignette comedy skit. Someone trying to get their highly tuned race driver suddenly dosed up on Red Bull, and then having him have a panic attack and then blaming him for it. But I don't know. It just sorry, Darren.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, that would have been funny. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like, did it bring anything to the table? I'm just saying it. That was almost like 15 minutes of plot that pretty much went nowhere. Once you saw Sebastian Stan crash his car and they go into the tunnel, he's gone.
You know what might have been better, right? What might have been better is not having Seth MacFarlane in it at all, right? Just forget that character. And what you do is the whole thing about, Adam Driver's character being insulted and that in the bar. You have, say, like 3 or 4 of the guards from that NASCAR place go into the bar at the beginning, but you don't know who they are. They're just 3 blokes that turn up, come in for a drink. They've had a hard day at work. And then you see them later on and you realise, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
They know Seth MacFarlane's character. I met him. Know what he really is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of ways you could have done it. I don't know. I mean, I think in a film that was not baggy, I don't think that's fair. I mean, just a film that for a heist movie, it just felt a little overlong. Then scenes with MacFarlane in it, and that whole interviewing him at the end, just to basically make him a butt of a joke and dismiss him, just felt like, well, what was the point? He makes zero impact on it. He kind of appears, and then as soon as it cuts and Adam Driver's coming out to the car, you already know whatever's happened to him has been bad, and he's pretty much out of the film for that point. So to have him come back for a third time, and it's just like, and then all he does is get essentially dismissed again. It's just like, It just felt like an excuse just to have the director just go, I would like my friend Seth MacFarlane to be in this film. Do you know what I mean? So he can do a voice.
Yeah.
But, it's not a deal breaker, but it was just it kind of felt like a bit of a baggy indulgence.
I'm just thinking, when he was being interrogated by Hilary Swank, that was... I'm trying to think of the words. That was more to prove the line of that they couldn't have been there.
No, the corroborating evidence wasn't there. Because that was the whole point, that the only other person who would back him up is the person he's just fucked over.
Exactly, yeah.
And that person just said, well, I don't know what he's talking about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's cool and fun and dandy, but the net result was the same. That Adam Driver walked out of the stadium and nothing happened because nobody could pin him on the scene.
That's right. Yeah. I know I canned it earlier on, but I did like the cake scene with the car as well, where the lady gets the cake handed to her. They all cut it all up, and then the cockroaches come in, and then she's swept away because her car's been damaged. Yeah. And then the cake gets locked in there. That works really well. That is kind of what I was after. I was after a bit more of that. Because it gets me asking, who is she? What relationship is she? Oh, she's nothing. She's just a pawn in the actual game of finding out what pipe goes where they come through, and how you can actually get into the vault. So yeah, I quite like that.
Cool. Yeah, I mean that's and I guess that goes back to the heist movie tropes. Once you start, if it's done well, you can watch really strange things happening, and then when you hit the end and they explain it, it makes sense. You kind of go, oh, so that was what that was about, and that was what that was about, and that's why they were doing this. And because at first I didn't understand why they were going here or saying this or handing things over to this person. Like the prison break, you're trying to work out why they're doing the prison while they're doing the prison riot, and then it's like, they're covering up that they're not, Joe Bang's not in there, and they're trying to lock the prison down so he can't supposedly get out of the hospital. So he's in the hospital all alone and all this kind of thing. So he couldn't possibly have broken out.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff kind of makes sense and clicks into place at the end. But there are, but other bits when you're getting sort of, like I say, what I call the baggy exposition sort of stuck on it, you're like, okay, fine. You're just taking up a bit of time. It's not quite as, it's not quite what I was expecting. But that said, after all that, like I say, second time round, once you accept those flaws and just go, actually, I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to have this as a bit of a Shaggy Dog's Tale rather than Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
I think or as it's said on the TV later, it's Ocean's 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Then I think you can get a lot more out of it. Yeah. Has anyone got anything else they want to bring up about it? I'm just aware of the time.
I think looking at considering what's been said, I think really this is a film more about the characters, or to say the journey rather than the destination. I think it's what they do along the way and how it makes you feel. I'm willing to give this film a pass because because I actually enjoyed watching it. It just felt like a bit of a joy to watch this film.
Yeah, there's nothing offensive about it, is there? There's nothing that kind of generally makes you go, oh God, I hate that bit in it, or God, this bit's a bit tedious, or it's a bit, to use the phrase.
It's almost a fluffy jumper movie, as they say. Once you put on when you're feeling a bit miserable, put it on. Got a thing of cheering you up. It's a nice, cosy film.
Yeah, definitely. What I needed yesterday, Monday night, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what I was getting into, but it turned out to be like a nice warm bath.
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah. Like I say, I mean, you know, my little nitpicks aside, excuse me. I think, you know, it is a film that's pretty easy going, and if you can settle into its rhythm, I think you have quite a good time with it. Yeah. So cool.
Maybe it's because we've done some pretty hardcore 9 out of 10 movies.
I was going to say, I think we've also done some fairly deep dive worthy movies, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, you could sit there and pick us apart for days on end, and you know, and then to go from something like that to something like this, you know, is kind of a bit of a cultural whiplash.
Yeah.
But there you go. But I mean, I would say Elton. I know it's probably not on high on your list, but I would recommend having another little watch of it, knowing what you're getting yourself into in a few months' time or something.
I think I will leave it because I watched it on Friday and then tried to watch it on Monday. I didn't make it all the way through on Monday.
Yeah. No, I think give it some space. I mean, it was about. I watched it at the start of lockdown, so I've given it about 18 months worth of space. But yeah, I think you find it. I think you find it's one of those films that ages better in your mind, and you might come back to, and you'll appreciate it more the second time round.
Cool.
Right. Any last thoughts? Parting thoughts? Anyone?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think that's. Well. I mean, in fairness, I think that's always the way with comedies. You can only go so far in discussing it, but you know, it's cool. Okay, so overall, thumbs up, but you know, with a few caveats. But overall, not a good film.
Yeah.
So okay then. Well, in which case, it just leaves it down to me before we get to Pimp's Corner. I hadn't forgotten. Before we get to Pimp's Corner, it's for me to tell you my film. Now, I've got two to pick from. I was going to pick one, obviously, because we can't watch both. And I'm trying to think which one I'm going to go for. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do this one, right? Okay. So this one is a film which I will be honest with you is notorious. And it's notorious basically for one scene and one rather iconic-looking poster. It's a film which I think a lot of people think they've seen, but they haven't. Or if they have seen it, they only remember the iconic scene and the poster. That's as simple as that. It goes back quite a way, back into the early dimly lit areas of the early 80s. And it's directed by David Cronenberg. And the movie is Scanners.
I thought you were going to say Carry On the Buses or something like that.
Yeah.
I know Cronenberg was big on the old Carry On films.
He was. He loved Blakey, I tell you. He really did. But anyway, yes, Scanners. I haven't watched this film in about, well, I would say probably about 30 years. But everyone remembers one key scene, and everyone remembers that picture of Michael Ironside on the front cover with his white eyes and veins climbing up the side of his head. So, Elton, have you ever seen Scanners?
Jim, did we do this on Witless?
You did Scanner Cop, didn't you? Scanner Cop.
Did we do Scanner Cop? We didn't have Trancers.
Ah, okay. Then no, I haven't seen this.
Okay. So you don't know the iconic scene either?
No.
Okay, fair enough. I will say no more then. Jim, I'm going to just assume the answer is yes, you've seen this, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Yes, I've seen it several times. I've not seen it for a while, though. Probably early noughties.
Yeah.
When I had was when all the Cronenberg was coming out on DVD again. I kind of rewatched most of them then. I've not gone back to Scanners since. But I've seen it on Amazon Prime. I should go back to that.
Yeah. It's kind of how I felt about it. Yeah, it was that or Dreamscape.
I did Dreamscape the other week, actually.
Yeah.
I came up on the search, said, Dreamscape, and she's like, what? I said, right, sit down watching it. That's a fun movie. That's still a very fun movie.
Okay,
yeah.
we may come
Dennis
back.
Quaid, that one.
That's the one.
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and Christopher Plummer.
Yeah, exactly. And Darren, what about you, Scanners?
I've only seen the famous bit, that famous scene,
and the poster, right? So you've never actually seen Scanners?
Not that I remember.
Interesting. Okay, well then it could be quite a mixed bag next week. So, I haven't seen it in about 30 years. But I will say right now, for anyone who's going to watch this blind or come into this without seeing it, bear in mind, early 80s, exploitation, science fiction. So, I think we might just have to put to one side the special effects limitations, because I am completely of a mind that I'm going to watch this and it's not going to have the impact on me that it did when I watched it the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So there you go. So
I think you might find a different layer to it coming to it with mature eyes.
Yeah, probably, because most people probably only watched it for the gore, to be honest. I would imagine. But I'm quite looking forward to it, to be honest, because I do, like I say, I don't think I've seen it in such a long time. I'll be quite interested to see how I interpret it. But yes, so that Scanners is available on Amazon Prime. It is still available, so we're going to watch it on that. And if you do want to see a plasticine man turn into a snake, then also check out Dreamscape, because that was going to be on my list. But yeah, we'll get to that maybe another time. So that's it. Next week, Scanners. We will be back for that, David Cronenberg's movie. And yes, now it's time to enter Pimp's Corner. I feel like we should have sort of like 70s jangly guitars playing now. But anyway, so in Pimp's Corner we have Jim and we have Elton, and Elton's going to tell us all about Rogue 2. Oh no, actually, let's keep the format. Jim, what's happening on Hypnodoria, sir?
Well, currently I'm just in the last leg of an unplanned Brains in Jars season. The latest episode looking at 3 different film versions of Donovan's Brain. Mm-hmm. And I'm just recording what's going to be probably the last episode in this impromptu season, which is looking at sort of very bad Killer Brains movies.
Nice.
But also over on Commentary Club, we've got our 100th episode, and that's out now. And we're looking at the original Star Wars.
Okay. When you say the original Star Wars, are you actually reviewing the original Star Wars?
Well, we're doing a commentary for the original Star Wars.
Okay.
And it is Star Wars. It's not A New Fucking Hope. That
nice.
wasn't how it was released.
There you go. That was the bit I wanted to know. That was it.
So this would be the version that's on the Laserdisc. Is that right?
No, because that's still got New Hope on it.
No, this is the version that's on Disney Plus, because it's hard to get hold of any other version for people to watch along with. But we refuse to call it A New Hope.
Yes.
It's Star Wars, the end. That's what we grew up with.
Yeah, it's the Enterprise. No bloody A, no bloody B, no bloody... Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Cool, okie dokie, and that's all over at hypnogoria.com.
It is indeed.
Brilliant. Okay, and what about Rogue 2? What is going on over there, Elton?
What's going on over there? You can catch myself and Andy talking about cars going around in circles with flappy paddles and wings and stuff like that over at the Grand Prix podcast.
Sorry.
And I've just released, I think it was today. It's only on Patreon. It'll be up on the normal feed next week, next Tuesday. Myself and Mr. Lee Metcalf talk about animation.
Oh, God, don't listen to that cunt. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He
And
hasn't got
no,
a clue.
it's not a cartoons episode. It's more about animation. Although it does turn into a bit of a cartoons episode.
It
But
does.
It's supposed to be about animation.
It does also feature a tiny Scotsman on a push chair with toilet tubes up his arms.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it did, didn't it?
A
Yeah.
small Scots boy
Yep.
being thrown around a corner. Just as a little heads up.
Yeah,
if
so
that helps.
That'll be out on Shonky Lab next Tuesday.
Or you can go onto the Patreon and be a very nice person and can donate
Yes,
to the Patreon.
just £1 will get you there.
There you go. Just to listen to me and Elton.
You poor suckers.
Yeah, who'd pay that? I wouldn't pay £1 for that. Anyway, cool. Okay, so brilliant. And that's over at rogue2media.com.
That's correct, yes.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Well, as you just heard, Darren, are you doing anything?
No.
Okie dokie. Well, I didn't want to assume, but, you know. So as you just heard, you know, you can hear me in about a week's time talking about animation and how to throw a Scots person on a chair around a corner with toilet tubes up his armpits. Yeah, on Shonky
Glad
Lab.
you said armpits.
It almost didn't end up in his armpits. And, yeah, you can look at that over Rogue 2. Otherwise, you can find me here doing my usual stuff, you know. But like I say, bear in mind that in 2 weeks' time, my week's going to be so much more interesting. Or at least it's going to have something in it that's going to just have people rolling their eyes, me included probably. So, yes, that's something to look forward to. So, until next week, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton.
No problem.
And we shall see you all next week for Scanners. So, until then, take care. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road, it's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on.
Get out of the booth, Jack.
No, I like it in here.